Double game weeks have been announced. Man City and Brentford will double in game week 25. Man City will play Chelsea at home and Brentford at home. So really, really good home games for them. And Brentford will play Liverpool at home and Man City away. Not so good, but can Ivan Toney become an option? Will Haaland be fit by then? We'll find out in this video, as here is the top transfer tips for game week 22. Let's get into it.
Yo, listen up, Rue is stepping up the game, where fantasy Premier League runs in his veins. From transfers to captains, he's always on top, guiding you through every game week non-stop. They say Rue got that Salah flow. Welcome to the channel, enjoy the show. Wild cards, free hits with so much vibe. If you're hunting for success, then make sure you subscribe.
Good day, mate. Welcome back to the channel. I'm FPL Root, and welcome back to another FPL video. So like I said, in today's video, we've been looking at the top transfer tips of some of the players that you should be bringing in. Also, maybe some of the players that you might want to sell this game week in game week 22. We'll start off with a new sign-in. But before that, please make sure you do smash a like and subscribe to the channel if you are new. The new sign-in, we've got Timo Werner, 6.5 million. Comes in as a forward and obviously still very early days, so 0.3% owned. So could be a real nice differential for someone that is looking to bring in Werner, especially now as Son is off to the Asia Cup. And there is a rumor that Kulusevski potentially has a knock, but I think he'll be fine, but it potentially has a knock. Werner could actually be a really good option where he does start. I feel Kulusevski will actually start in a number 10 role while Son's gone and while Lo Celso's injured too. So Werner could go out to the left and Brennan Johnson on the right and then Richarlison in the middle. So I do think Werner actually has a good chance of going, actually getting a few minutes. Obviously, we can't really look at his form this season. He scored 2 in 2 starts for Leipzig, played 8 games, came on as a sub for 6 of them. But if you look at his Chelsea stats in the league, his first season at Chelsea, he ended up getting 6 goals and 12 assists. So again, the goals weren't, I'd say, great, but his assists were actually really good, to be fair to him. Also in the second season, 4 goals, 2 assists, obviously not great. Didn't really do it. To be honest, that first season, 6 goals, 12 assists is actually not that bad. But obviously you're going to want more from him if he is playing up front for one of the, I guess, big 6 teams. However, can he do it at Spurs? For me, I think it's a little bit too early to jump on him. I think there are other forward options around that price point, like Solanke, who I think is much better, maybe even a little bit more expensive. You could go for someone like Isak, or we'll talk about a couple later on in this video too. Someone that actually just been announced has a double game week. For me, I think it is a little bit early to be bringing in Werner, but I actually do think he'll start. I'm just not sure he has that clinical goal scoring edge to be a really good FPL option. Obviously, you can still get points from assists, as Watkins has showed us this season. He hasn't scored, I guess, as many goals as the big points hitters, but he actually matched them for points because of the assists. So that's definitely doable, but I think it is a little bit too soon to go for someone like Werner. I need to see more and see how he does perform in this Spurs system, how he beds himself in, how if he plays wide, if he plays through the middle. There's just more to see. So for now, I would just call off and don't bring in Werner and just wait and see. But if you want to go early, I do think he'll start. So hopefully that does help you out if you are thinking about bringing him in. And next up, we've got a player that a lot of us have been talking about for a few weeks now, potentially even over a month. It's Erling Haaland, 13.9 million. Now down to 54.1% owned. So obviously I've just mentioned that Man City have been announced and do have a double game week in game at 25. So a lot of people are going to want to own Haaland for that. However, he is going to miss. This was being filmed before a Man City Newcastle game, but we have been told by Pep that he will miss that game, and it's probably looking like the end of the month. Haaland's going to be back, which is actually game week 22, so potentially could be back for 22. Burnley at home, but you should be able to, I guess confirm that he will be back for 23, 24, 25. Do I think that he is a player that you should rush to bring in for game week 22. I think what we've seen so far this season, we've seen rumours that he's back in training. He's going to be back for this game week, and he hasn't. So for me, I'd probably just wait until I see him on the bench, until I see him get some minutes for Manchester City before bringing him in. Obviously, in game week 25, he is a potential triple captain option. So if he is fit, I think a lot of people are going to wanna bring him in. However, for me, I just wouldn't be holding out for him. I wouldn't be relying on Erling Haaland in terms of saving money or even saving him in your team. I think if you've got him now and you've kept him this long, then definitely save him if you can. However, I wouldn't be bringing him in anytime soon unless I actually see him play minutes. Man City do play a few games before, kind of in between game week 21, 22. So they have the FA Cup game. They've got, pretty sure they've got a Champions League game too. So you will see, I guess, if he does get any minutes on the bench or even in the squad. So for me, it's a wait and see with Haaland. Don't move early, whether that's selling or bringing in. As I'm sure if he is fit, we're all going to want him for game week 25. So it's just about getting the most information as possible before game week 22 and then making a decision whether, for me personally, I just need to see him play at least 1 minute in order to bring him in. But overall, yeah, I'd say if you've kept him this long, just hold on to him. If you're looking to bring him in, just wait until you see him actually get some minutes. So next up is Haaland's teammate who has actually just come back from injury, and we've seen him get minutes. Like I said, this has been recorded before the Newcastle Man City game, so I'm not too sure if De Bruyne has started in that game, but I'm pretty sure he will actually get minutes, even if it is from the bench. He came on against Huddersfield, got an assist. He hasn't played in the Premier League yet, again, as the time of recording, but I think from game week 22, you can definitely consider De Bruyne as a player that will be getting a lot of minutes for Manchester City, especially in this part of the season. I feel like he does step up when Man City do need him in big games and in big situations. You can always kind of count on De Bruyne to be there for Manchester City. Last season, we've seen how, what an incredible kind of FPL option he is. I think sometimes he does actually go under the radar because he maybe doesn't do it. I guess he doesn't get double-digit hauls consistent, I'd say. It's more like a throughout the season. So last season, 7 goals, 18 assists, then 15 goals, 8 assists, 6 goals, 12 assists, 13 goals, 23 assists. Incredible, honestly. 13 goals, yeah, like I said, 2 goals, 3 assists, which was injured a lot that season. 8 goals, 18 assists, 6 goals, 21 assists, 7 goals, 10 assists. So you are definitely relying on the assist, but he can get goals. And I think in this system for Manchester City with Rodri there, I actually think that De Bruyne can be a really, really big player. And I actually do think he will start in game week 22. It's going to be a big break between 21 and 22. Obviously, there's other games in there, but I think the break is big enough for De Bruyne to kind of get back to full fitness. And obviously, the fixtures are so good for Man City. Burnley at home, Brentford away, Everton at home, and a double game week of Chelsea at home and Brentford at home. Still under 10% owned as well, 10.3 million. It could be a really, really nice placeholder until Salah is back for AFCON. Even if not, I think De Bruyne can actually do quite well, to be honest, especially in these next 4 fixtures, including the double game week. So next up, we talk about a player that has or hasn't played all season, just like De Bruyne, and has a double game week in game week 25, just like De Bruyne. It is Ivan Toney, 7.9 million. He is now 1.8% owned. So a few people have gone early on him, or maybe a few people at the start of the season kind of forgot he was banned, and they haven't checked their team since. But although Toney does have a double game week, the fixtures before that are not the best for Brentford. So Spurs away, City at home, Wolves away. Even Wolves away could be tough. And with Brentford's fallen at the moment, and they've only won 1 in their last 8 games. So the fixtures don't look any good really for Brentford. But you've got that double game week in game week 25, where they do have Liverpool at home and Man City away. So yes, it is one of the toughest game weeks you can probably get, but it is a double. Ivan Toney can do it against anyone, I feel. And Brentford have actually caused Man City a few options in the past. I think they beat them twice last year. I remember once before the World Cup. So I do think Brentford can cause them problems, and Ivan Toney on penalties, and to me, he can score against anyone. Obviously, we can't look at his stats from this season, just like De Bruyne, just like Werner. But last season, 20 goals, 4 assists for him. And then his first season in the Prem was 12 goals, 5 assists. So he can get goals. He is an absolute machine. He's on pens and doesn't miss. I think he's missed one his whole career. So for me, I do think Ivan Toney is a brilliant FPL option. However, do I think that he's a good option now to bring in ahead of Game Week 22? Not for me. First of all, I'd like to see him play just like Haaland when he does come back from injury. Obviously, Ivan Toney is not coming back from injury, so I do actually think he will start. To be honest, from now on, as soon as he's back, but the fixtures are just not there for me. Obviously, Spurs away can concede goals. Spurs' defense is not great. Even City's defense is not great, to be honest. Man City at home, but I just think there are players out there at the moment that have better fixtures and are probably in a team that is in better form. For example, Ollie Watkins, Alvarez, Solanke, Isak. There's definitely players out there that have the form and the fixtures and play for a team in better form. So for that reason, I probably wouldn't be bringing in Ivan Toney, but I do really, really like it as a punt. It is a bold move, and to be honest, he's a quality player. So if you're going to be making a bold move, then making it on a quality player is always a good thing. So if you are looking to bring it in, I think go for it, but just be wary of the fixtures. But obviously, you do get that double in 25. Next up, we have an FPL option that has done us well over the last 2 seasons. It is Kieran Trippier, but Newcastle's form has been so bad over the last, I'd say, 7 game weeks. They've only won one in their last 6 game weeks, which is really, really bad considering they've played Luton, Forest, Everton in that time frame. So not the best. Obviously, they've had a lot of injuries. They've had Champions League to deal with. So I completely understand why. But I think now is a time that Newcastle can actually try and turn around that form. They actually had a bit of bad form earlier on in the season, but the fixtures weren't great, so you can't really compare. But I will just for the just to give a bit of a comparison. So they had lost 3 in a row. Then their fixtures turned, and they actually went on a really, really good where they were unbeaten in 7 game weeks. So and they only lost one in 9. So really, really good form. And I think with the fixtures turning now for Newcastle, I think Trippier can be a really, really good option, especially with the fact Salah and Son are obviously off on international duty. Haaland's injured. There's kind of money to spend at the moment, to be honest. And I think Trippier over the next 4 definitely can be actually a really, really good option. So Villa away, not the best game, but yeah, not the best game. But to be honest, I think it is not a bad time to bring him in. Luton at home, Forest away, Bournemouth at home. I know I've just said that they did lose to Luton and Forest, but I think Trippier is more than just clean sheets. He can get the assists, and I do think Newcastle will turn things around now that they've got a few defenders back. Botman's back, I think. They've got obviously Trippier's back. He had a bit of a knock. You've got Lascelles there. Not too sure Shaw's back yet, but Dan Burns back. So they are starting to get their team back. And to be honest, I think with this fixture run, I think they can be a bit of a solid team. Whether Trippier is worth that money, 6.7 million, probably not. If everyone was fit, if Haaland, Salah, Son were options, probably not. But the fact that they're not, I think you can bring him in for a few game weeks, maybe 2-3 game weeks, and get a few good returns from him before maybe taking him out for a double game week 25 player. But for now, yeah, I think Trippier, all Newcastle options can be a bit of a, I guess, differential because no one will really be looking at them because how bad they have been recently. So next up, we'll talk about a player from a team who have also not been that great recently. So it is the Manchester United winger, Garnacho. So he has actually been getting a few points recently he's been playing on the right, sometimes playing on the left as well, where Rashford has been benched. But at 4.8 million, I think Garnacho can actually be a really, really nice enabler for some of the big hitters when they do come back. And to be honest, I don't think it's that bad getting him in early. So the fixtures for Man United are actually pretty good, I'd say. Wolves away, West Ham at home, Villa away, Luton away. So obviously away games in there are not the best, but I think they're three out of four definitely winnable games for Man United if they do start to turn things around. And again, I think the injuries coming back for Man United will help them. Casemiro's back, Lisandro Martinez is back, so there's definitely Anthony's back. There's definitely, I guess, going to be stronger in terms of defense and potentially attack. And to be honest, I think the way Garnacho's playing at the moment, I just can't see how Ten Hag can bench him. Yes, Anthony back is a bit of a worry. And we know how much Ten Hag loves Anthony, but for me, I think they'll be stupid not to play Garnacho. And I think for 4.8 million, you can kind of afford him not to be playing every single minute of every single game. I think he'll be the eighth attacker for you. He'll be on your bench. You'll play him when it's needed, and hopefully he has kept his place. In terms of returns this season for Garnacho, like I said, he hasn't played that much, but in terms of starts, it's actually been 12 starts, which is more than actually for 3 goals, 2 assists in a stinky Man United team, and most of them come recently. He's got 3 returns, 2 goals, 1 assist in the last 2 games. So for me, I do think he can be a really nice option for that price point as an enabler, as an eighth attacker, when maybe a player is injured or is playing Man City away, one of your forwards. I think Garnacho can be a really, really nice option. So if you are looking for someone around that price, I think, yeah, Garnacho, you can't really go wrong. So Pascal Gross is Brighton's highest scoring player this season, which is actually really, really shocked me. And I think a lot of FPL managers are actually looking to bring him in. I think Brighton's fixtures are looking pretty good over the next few game weeks, and that 6.5 million. I think he can be a really, really nice differential for only 5.5% owned. So Luton away for Brighton in game week 22. Then they've got Palace at home, Spurs away, but we know Spurs can concede goals. Then they've got Sheffield United away, and then even their fixtures continue after that, to be honest. Everton at home, Fulham away, Forest at home. So I think Pascal Gross can be a really, really nice option, especially while some of Brighton's players like Adingra, Matoma, Marsh is obviously injured, and the first 2 were at their international duty as well. So and Ansu Fati is injured as well, a muscle injury. So they do have a lot of injuries in that position, and I think Pascal Gross can be a pretty nice differential. He's on penalties as well, which obviously does make a big difference. His stats not been amazing, which is kind of showing how, I guess, poor Brighton have been this season compared to what we know and kind of love to watch Brighton, to be honest, personally. And they just haven't really shown that this season, I guess, consistently. 17 starts, 3 goals, 6 assists for Pascal Gross. But for me, he does look like a good option, and Brighton, I guess, have really good fixtures. There's just something about him that is putting me off. I don't know if it's the fact that if Matoma and Dingra come back, does that mean Pascal Gross maybe plays a bit deeper? Does it affect maybe? Well, he's not actually on penalties either. João Pedro will be on penalties. Does it affect him in some way where he might have to drop a bit deeper to kind of cover them? For me, I just think there's better options out there, to be honest. I know the fixtures are good, and I know he's on a bit of form at the moment, but I just can't go there. I think there are better options out there, and we'll talk about them next. So I won't mention them in this part, but yeah, for me, I just probably wouldn't be bringing Pascal Gross at the moment. I just haven't seen enough from him to think that he will score FPL points, really. The next up is a player that I think a lot of us actually started the season with. I know I did. It is Eze, comes in at 6 billion, the Crystal Palace midfielder. Only actually, well, not highly owned at all, 3.5% owned. Probably under owned, but he's just come back from injury. He's played the last couple games and then getting game week 18 off the bench. 3 goals, 2 assists this season, 11 starts. Not bad. Probably expect more from him, to be honest. He is on penalties though, so that is a thing to take into consideration. And I think Palace's fixtures are actually looking really, really good over the next few. So Sheffield United at home, Brighton away. We know Brighton can, well, they've kept 1 clean sheet all season. Chelsea at home. Chelsea's not any good really, are they? Everton away and then Burnley at home. So some really, really good fixtures in there up until kind of game week 27 where they've got Spurs. And then after that, they've got Luton at home. So it's not bad. I guess it doesn't really get that bad until probably game week 32. So you can potentially hold him until then. But I just think Eze is a much, much better option than Pascal Gross. Just saving 0.5 million. He's a guaranteed penalty taker. Yes, Palace's form has been shocking recently. I know they beat Brentford in game week 20, but Brentford's form's been shocking, to be honest. Palace are in big, big trouble. They've actually, I'm just looking now, so they've won 1 in their last 12 games. Well, they've won twice, sorry, in the last 12 games. So since game week 4, they've won twice. To me, that is shocking. That's probably a bit longer than, let me count it 1 minute. 3, 6, 9, 12, 15, 17 games they've won. Wow. They've won twice in the last 17 games. That is ridiculous. To be honest, I didn't realize it was that bad for them, but I think Eze being back from injury can actually turn things around for Palace, and I think the fixtures do look good. So I do prefer him over Pascal Gross. Do I think Cole Palmer's a better option? Yes. I think he is a better option. You could argue that maybe someone like Pedro Neto is a better option, but for me, I think Eze, if Palace are gonna, I guess, stay up and comfortably stay up this season, then I think Eze is going to have to kind of drag them through it. And what a better time than to have these fixtures coming up. And yeah, so for me, if you are looking for someone 6 million that you can probably keep until game week 32, then I think Eze is your guy. The next up is a player that I actually mentioned on my last transfer tips video, but it was really for this game week onwards. It is Robinson, the Fulham defender. So he actually started the season pretty well. He got a few assists. He got 3 assists quite early on. He started every game for Fulham this season, bar game week 5. So he's definitely nailed, to be honest, in this team. I just really, really like Fulham's fixtures, to be honest with you. Everton at home, to me, is a really good fixture for them. Burnley away, Bournemouth at home, then Villa at home. So the next 3 I just love for Fulham, and I actually think Fulham are a decent team. I think by jumping on these players a bit earlier over these next 3 fixtures, going for the fixtures, we know Fulham can, I guess, can put in performances. We've seen it against Liverpool in the cup; they've done pretty well. We've seen them give Chelsea. I'm not saying Chelsea any good, but we've seen them give Chelsea a decent game in game week 21. And yeah, for me, 13th in the league, they are. I think Fulham are a decent team to target, especially with them fixtures. You could argue that defensively they're probably not the best, but I actually don't think they're the worst either. I think in terms of clean sheets, they've kept 4, 5 this season they've kept, which again, not the best, but a couple that with Robertson's attacking kind of threat for an assist, I think he could be a really, really nice option for that price point. He's under 4.5 million, 1.5% owned. I think it can be a nice differential if you are looking for a defender that is a little bit different to what everyone else is going for. So another defender with really good fixtures, but is very, very attacking is Estupinan. Again, I think I might have spoke about him last week, but I just really, really do like Brighton's fixtures. And if I am looking for a Brighton player, I wouldn't go for Gross. I would go for Estupinan. I think he is potentially more attacking than Gross, and he can get them clean sheet points. So 5 million he is, which I think is a bargain for how attacking he is. Just under 23% owned. Luton away, Palace away. Sorry, not Luton away, Palace away. Yeah, Luton away, Palace at home, Sheffield United away. Sorry, Luton away, Palace at home, Spurs away, Sheffield United away, Everton at home, Fulham away, Forest at home. So you can keep him up until game week 28, and I think there's definitely attacking returns in him for in that sort of fixture run. Clean sheets is obviously a worry. Kept one this season, but with Estupinan back, could that potentially see them be a little bit more solid in defence? I wouldn't hold my breath, but his attacking returns are incredible. He's only played kind of a handful of games this season, 7 games, so two, yeah, 1.5 handfuls, you say, 2 goals, 3 assists for a player that has only started 7 games is incredible. So if you are looking for a 5 million defender that is very, very attacking and with good fixtures, I think Estupinan could be your guy. So a player that, again, a lot of the community have been talking about. I'm not too sure how to pronounce his name, but I'm going to go for Doughty. He is the Luton kind of fullback that has actually been doing very, very well recently. He's been getting a few assists. Yes, Luton haven't really been keeping clean sheets this season, but yeah, his attacking threat has been really, really good. 1 goal, 6 assists so far in 16 starts, which I think is really, really good for Luton. And he's got 4 returns in his last 3 game weeks, which is yeah, pretty good if you ask me. 7 points, 9 points, 5 points he's got. And for that price point, I think he can be a potential good option, especially if Luton do get their double game week in game week 25 against Man United and Liverpool away. Yes, not the best, but before that, they do have Brighton at home, Newcastle away, Sheffield United at home. Then they've got the double game week, so he could actually be a really, really nice option. That is a bit of a differential. They've got the double game week player that you can probably bench after that if you want to. I think Doherty can be a nice player. Do I think there's better players out there that play for better defenses? Yes, but we've seen how attacking he can be. His stats haven't been great, but they've been pretty good, especially against Chelsea. 0.5 expected goal involvements, which is looking really, really good. And earlier on in the season, he was actually getting 0.3 constantly, to be honest, which is pretty good for a fullback. And it's shown with his assists, 6 assists this season. It's just, can Luton add clean sheets to that? I'm not too sure. So I wouldn't be taking out anyone soon for him. But if you have got that space and you want to go for something a bit different, he potentially has a double game week at 25 too. So you could be jumping early on to that. So yeah, that was it for this video though. Thanks so much for watching this long. If you are still watching from the beginning, please make sure you do like the videos. It does help me out a lot. Subscribe to the channel if you are new, and good luck for the game week. And I'll see you in the next video, which would be out very, very soon. We'll talk about game week 22 a bit further, maybe talk about the doubles and blanks. Yeah, please like this video, subscribe, and I'll catch you in the next one. Cheers.